Sir, given all the attention and scrutiny related to these events, do you believe your highest level protectees will now need to campaign differently in how they organize their events and in how they live their daily lives, things like trips to golf courses or recreational time? Will they have to live differently in order to be safe?
Well, ultimately, Kelly, it's the responsibility of the Secret Service to make sure that we provide a secure environment for our protectees. We want them to make sure that they can live their lives with some type of normalcy, but they must do so with us providing the highest levels of protection, which we have been doing since July 13th. And so it's ultimately our responsibility to make sure that wherever our protectees go, we are creating a safe environment. And that comes back to us being able to use our methodologies, to use our redundancies, our systems that we have in place to create those secure environments.
Do they need to campaign differently, sir?
Those
are organized or set up, outdoor events, that kind of thing?
So since July 13th, we have been securing successfully outdoor events. And what you're seeing is an increased use of assets, increased use of ballistic glass. So we certainly make sure that when they are out there at an outdoor venue, that we are using our protective methodologies to create that safe environment.
Hello, Director. Thank you for taking the time. Could you just kind of go into a bit more detail about the conversations you had with Trump campaign staff about the selection of the Butler site? The report says that Secret Service agents saw it as a challenge, and the staff wanted to have the rally there. Did the staff go against your recommendation? Can you speak to exactly what was said and what the outcome was?
So, listen, the staff chooses a site, and ultimately it's on the Secret Service to secure it. So when the site was selected, the advance team went about identifying areas of concern. The AGR building was one of those hazards that was identified. But let me just be clear, Maria. Ultimately, it is the Secret Service's responsibility to secure a site. We certainly have conversations, and it doesn't matter whether it's a campaign staff or a White House staff. We have conversations, and we have very good working relationships with those staffs. But ultimately, it is the Secret Service's responsibility to secure a site.
Your comments?
Director, thank you. Based on your review and analysis, what is the reason, what's the best explanation for why there was not law enforcement personnel covering the roof, physically on the roof itself, or making sure someone could not get on top of the roof? And the follow-up question would be, how disappointed are you in what you described as deficiencies in diligence?
Sure. So ultimately, Pierre, we have to be very direct and clear when we're talking to our state and local counterparts. With respect to Butler, I think what the Mission Assurance Review has identified is that there was that lack of clarity. And I can tell you since July 13th, when I've been out on the road and I've watched field offices, and I gave guidance upon becoming the acting director to the field. We have to be very clear when we're talking to our state and local partners. We value those relationships with them. We need them to be assisting us and be shoulder to shoulder with us. And it appears that there was that lack of clarity with respect to Butler. And go again with your follow-up here.
On that, so there was a lack of clarity that roof should be secure, period, full stop.
There was discussion about how the roof was going to be secured, and I think what it came back to is we should have challenged how that mechanism was being implemented. Meaning, we should have been more direct. We cannot be overly deferential to state and local law enforcement. Ultimately it's our responsibility, and so we just have to be very clear when we're asking them for support. They want to help us. And what we found is that in this, in the mission assurance interviews, it became apparent that in comparison to prior visits to that area, there was one prior visit in 2020, that there was a lack of assertion with respect to what exactly state and locals would have to require or would be required to support that advance.
Clarity on the second question, simply, how disappointed are you when you see that, as the report states, that some personnel did not follow Secret Service protocols?
Well, I'm not going to get into employee disciplinary matters, but what I can tell you is the men and women of the Secret Service are dedicated professionals. And so while July 13th is a failure, we're not proud of it, but we certainly have been rising to this moment. The men and women in the field are rising to this moment. They are working tirelessly to make sure that the people we protect are safe. And so I will never be disappointed in our folks. I am proud of this agency. I am proud of our people.